Good morning, everybody. Chris Wood here, September 20th, 2022. Welcome to my channel. What I am holding up here is proof that remote neuromonitoring does exist, and when it is implanted in somebody, this is how it is operated within a person. So, I was told that this technology does not exist, and that it was all imagination. So with that being said, I am the victim. I am Chris Wood, and I am the victim of remote neuromonitoring. I am the victim of human sex trade, slavery, trafficking through it. I am the victim of kidnapping. I am the victim of sex assault. I am the victim of brain injuring. I am the victim of skull splitting. And I am the victim of attempted murder by and through Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police for revenge retaliation since 2019 for speaking of their human homeless trafficking crimes out of the Morningstar mission at the time. So as a result, I became a victim for 3 years. Back in 2019 at my previous address, I was sitting outside and the ex-chief, O.P.P chief, went by and he waved at me. He was in a white Jeep Wrangler. When he waved, I waved back. Black truck pulled up beside him. It was on the corner of Bridge and Center Street at the lights at the time, my previous address. And they pointed something and they shot it, and it went into my right ear at the time. I started to have the problems after that. That's when I went to the hospital. And I finally got an appointment for a CAT scan to figure out what was going on because it was moving. It moved through my ear and then it went down to the back of my neck and up the right side to my parietal area to up in here, and I was having all kinds of burning and other problems. So I finally get a CAT scan that year, November, and next thing you know, one of the ones that are involved with this mental health worker, Stacy, she was there talking to her girlfriend, Dr. Tatiana V. She was there stating that she was there for me for support for getting my CAT scan because of anxiety and all this other bullshit that I certainly do not have. I have no anxieties over getting CAT scans or anything like that. That's 100% bullshit. And I have nothing to do with her in the first place. She had no business being there, and when she realized I was there with my mother at the time, who was alive, and somebody else, she walked right by us. I go in to get my CAT scans done, and next thing you know, because I was not satisfied with the results, I wanted copies of it, and I was instantly told by Tatiana V, Stacy's girlfriend, that I needed medication and da-da-da-da, and next thing you know, because I was not satisfied, I go to Kingston Hospital to KGH. They conveniently get a phone call stating that I am suicidal. I am not suicidal in any way, shape, or form. 100% lie. I had long hair and my tattoos at the time, so it was believed by whoever made the phone call. I was there to find out what was going on, but it was believed to buy time and to prevent me being taken serious and help. I went there another time and they got a phone call stating about drugs and everything. I do not do drugs. I am against them. I've lost too many friends and family. I have been away from that lifestyle now for close to 12 years, and I want nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form. I've lost too many friends and family from it. I myself, my wake-up call that got me away from that was actually overdosing as well. I took Dilaudid and I ended up overdosing. It was my own doing, and I woke up and I had ER over me, pumping me and that. So yeah, I basically died for a few minutes, and that was my wake-up call. I've been drug-free, except I've been drug-free now since then. I smoke marijuana and CBD, especially for the pain and for what has taken place with me right now. Being seriously deformed, being broadcasted through from the remote neural monitoring you saw me by about 50 different junkies who are using it while they are high and passing it around and living and broadcasting through me. This is in hopes to mentally screw me up. This is in hopes to cause mental problems. This is in hopes that I mentally break and start thinking that I am someone else or whatever the case may be, so they can justifiably say, yes, there is problems here, or whatever the case may be. This is revenge retaliation against me through O.P.P, and Lennox and Addington County General Hospital doctors are involved with Paladin Security, aiding since day one in medical blacklisting and cover-ups, medical treatment refusals, and other crimes against me. They are also guilty of aiding in my identity theft with inmate boss, who is alleged Hells Angels, as and a rat informant as well, William Billy Wooldridge of 149 Center Street North. Last known used name, he's highly psychotic, highly delusional. He believes that we were switched at birth. He also thinks that he's my dad, but he also believes that he is Harry Potter. He's highly delusional. He was clinically diagnosed with it. So, and with that being said, he is the perfect person to use and to give remote neural monitoring to, especially being a heroin addict and in a permanent meth psychosis. He's the perfect one to use to mentally fuck up somebody by using this on them. What remote neural monitoring does actually is it fucks a person's nervous system up. A lot of people are not aware of this technology because it is military and police tech that's been in use since the 60s. And like I said, with a lot of people not aware of it, that just makes it a lot more easier for them to use on their victims and to get away with it. It's basically a Pontius Pilate crime. And by them being able to use drug addicts and other people, junkies, that suits them even more perfect, because then they have deniability for these crimes while being guilty. This is here about remote neural monitoring and it being in use, and how it is an implant microchip, in case anybody wants to think differently when I say implants and microchips. And it's been in use since the 60s. It is military and police tech. They are also using Clearview AI on their victims, which is basically illegal facial recognition, and is how they are framing people. I was kidnapped 24 hours, May 27th, 2021, after asking for help with the crimes that are taking place with me. And that was done in an attempt to shut me up. That was in an attempt to get me kept, because it was done through Shelley Huffner, through incompetency bullshit. 24 hours after me asking for help against them with arresting and charging police, doctors, and their others, Wooldridge, Hardy, Tyler Lake, Javen Alstein, and their other bastards. They are using this to do this to me. They got my blood and my piss that night. I was also falsely charged to give me a criminal record so they could get my prints, my signatures, and everything else they needed to put into the biometric system for this identity theft, and I will not be proven wrong. It was done to officially give me a criminal record, an attempt to give me a criminal record, and also to deflect. It was in an attempt to deflect the crimes against me from the police and from the doctors. Because of their positions that they hold and their badges, they cannot have it getting out that they are involved with murders, that they are involved with elderly murders, insurance frauds, disability welfare frauds, human sex trade, slavery, trafficking children to adults, or children to pedophiles and adults to sex offenders. They are guilty of slavery. They are guilty of lobotomizing their victims. This is how O.P.P get away with framing their victims. This is how they are human trafficking. And this is how they are murdering their victims. This is how they are framing their victims through using the remote neuromonitoring and these psychopaths and causing identity thefts in their victims. I am the last of my bloodline. If I cannot remember what has taken place with me from being mentally fucked up from all these psychotics who are untouchable conveniently, of course, because they're committing crimes with and for O.P.P and the doctors. So I just want to say that this is pretty much done. Chris has been, I am numbed down and being numbed down on a constant 24/7 basis. This, what you see right here, is Chris, but it is not my true image. It's been changed about 50,000 different times over the last 3 years, and I have proven it. Right now, I'm being broadcasted through by Wooldridge and by Tyler Lake. My skull's been split, my brain has been split, and this is how it's being done. I have something in the middle of my head, and it gets burning there, and this is where it's being broadcasted through, and it's splitting my head and being broadcasted through on each side. I am also completely and totally numb. I get stuff going through my body, my lungs, my kidneys. I'm being deformed. I'm being mutilated, basically, on my insides from this. And they are all getting away with it, knowing that I cannot go to a hospital or do anything. I've been trying to get a rest and everything else and get medical help to save my life. After 3 years, this is finally done. My identity theft is done. I am Chris, but I still am not Chris. And this has nothing to do with mental illness. This has to do with me being injured through crime so O.P.P can get away with their crimes. Anyway, I better wrap this up. Chris Wood, love all, hate none. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. This is how O.P.P, the police, human traffic, frame, and murder here. Be safe.